happened in-game. So do we need to see a change now from ROCCAT as we head into Champions League?
I mean, the analysts were talking about how ROCCAT were utilizing their TP, so I think, you know, there's some execution issues that they had with it, but generally I think everything apart from the Jace was actually fairly good. And not even that the Jace in an isolated chamber was bad, but it just didn't fit, right? Yeah. So maybe if you get the Vlad again for Betsy, if it's allowed through, otherwise, you know, Splyce are probably going to get it. However, from these bans, I actually like the adaptation here with the Echo being taken away. Get it away from Wunder, don't give him that strong top laner.
They're going to be taken away. Kindred as well aimed at Airwaks. And waiting on this last ban coming in from Splyce now. Fizz also taken away from Sencux once again, as we mentioned in the first game. Probably something that Sencux has been shown in scrims, so I want to take that one away. Jace banned away from Splyce, leaving Lucian open, and that will be immediately first pick from ROCCAT.
So I guess at that situation, Wunder's like, well, I don't want to play it without having the Echo available, and Splyce answer back very quickly, preempting the Lucian perhaps as a first pick by then taking the Rek'Sai and the Vlad themselves. So you've got a tank now and a Vamp tank to go alongside it. We saw Sencux on that Vlad yesterday. Now we've got potentially again for him.
I like these teamfighting setups coming in from Splyce. Can make a lot of work happen with those picks. And that was another insta-lock-in coming in from ROCCAT. Definitely know what they want in this champion. So like Braum will be locked in alongside the Lucian. Very strong lane by itself. And then Swain also picked up. So could be going to Prime, could be going to Betsy. Who knows?
These mid lane trades are going to last forever, Pulse. Because neither of them wants to build Morello. So nobody's, either both of them take Ignite and they can like actually just chunk through the healing of both and they die at the same time, or neither of them die.
Yeah, Swain turns into a bird and Vlad just keeps hitting Q and both of them stay at full health. I was like, well, that's mid lane. And
eventually maybe Vlad might somehow win out when Swain's exhausted his entire mana pool and everything else and not just run away.
Yeah.
So
maybe over time Vlad does win the war of attrition, but it will be a long fight.
I still think probably Betsy's confident in this matchup for himself.
Most likely, but still waiting on those next two pickups coming in from Splyce. We'll be locking in the bot lane here with Thresh onto Mikyx and Kobbe picking up the Ezreal. Be very impressed by Kobbe over all of his games so far in the split. Only 3 games so far, but doing very well. And also Mikyx going to be trying to make some more plays this time around. The Thresh had the Braum last time. Was kind of set up by Airwaks a couple of times with the kick into Glacial Fissure.
Now, if the Maokai gets taken away, I'm kind of wondering what Wunder goes for in that top lane, because he's going to look for something that has that tank potential, but with Maokai off the board and Echo gone, there aren't too many champions that remain if they want to play with a tank top lane. They have got the Rek'Sai though coming out of the jungle, so they could afford maybe to pivot on that and look for a more damage-focused top lane. We still are awaiting the lock-ins from ROCCAT right now. I wonder, will we see something like I would say the Rumble we've seen in LCK a little bit? If they want to go heavy team fight, would be an option here. Decent matchup into the Maokai. I don't know though. At this point, this is now the moment where we find out what does Wunder have as his fallback pick when Maokai and Echo aren't available, and perhaps they want to go the damage route.
Very much been the staples of Wunder. Yeah, the most damage he's really ever gone in the top lane is like Echo or like an off tank. So we'll see if he actually does something else.
There is always Trundle.
Yeah.
I forgot about Trundle.
Yeah, me too. I was like, oh, if only Trundle's also taken off the table, then we would be digging into Wunder's champion pool, but not today.
Feel a little bit silly on that one.
Yeah,
we casted so much Trundle in EUCS that I'm
just
like, well,
it's been picked or banned.
If it's not in the first rotation, it's not going to be in the last.
Right? Like you see, like a Lucian is just like, well, Trundle's still up, so first rotation on the blue side or on the red side rather. So we'll see how this one works out. 30 seconds remaining. We've got the full composition locked in here.
Well, ROCCAT this time have enough crowd control. They got a Maokai, they got a Swain, they got a Braum, they got a Lucian. They also have a fairly good kind of share of damage as well. The Lucian for the earlier parts in the game, the Swain for later on. You've got the AD, the AP. On the side of Splyce, Yes, the Vlad, the Ezreal take a little bit more time, perhaps. But you know, you still got the mixed sense of damage, and then Trundle should be able to hold his own in that 1v1, take away a lot of the resistances that Parang is going to have top.
I think it's very likely we're just going to see a lot of fights in this game as well. I'm hoping for more Infernal Dragons, more Mountain Dragons to encourage those fights as well, at least in the early game, even some Ocean Dragons. Actually, haven't seen too many of those myself in the LCS games that I've casted, at least. But we do have the compositions once again. You can see all of them right there in their full glory.
And with that Trundle locked in, with a Vlad as well, both good over in the side lanes. So Splyce looking to control the side lanes to come and perhaps be able to pick apart ROCCAT before they can group as a team and be super, super tanky.
Yeah, try and pick them apart before it even gets to it. So once again, jump on Twitter, use the hashtags, hashtag ROC win or hashtag SBY win. Which team do you think is going to take a game 2? Will the curse follow them? Will they both go 1-1 again? Or will Splyce be able to take the 2-0 here and actually be able to push through? We'll see. We are getting into game very shortly.
It's going to take a little longer. Has been a pause straight away, so hopefully it won't be
see
too
our
long.
faces again.
I don't know whether they're happy with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a good thing. But, it shouldn't be on us too long. We are just getting that sorted, seeing what the issue is, and we'll get back to you very shortly.
What is a good thing, though, that I like about these two teams specifically from casting them over the last couple of days is they've had a bit of a different playstyle to a lot of the other teams that we've started to see. Like, yes, they've got the Swain, they've got the Vlad that teams have been picking up, but we're starting to see a couple of different little adaptations. The Jhin in the previous game from ROCCAT.
Cool.
You know, Splyce playing with Wunder on the, you know, more slightly, not carry-oriented, but the 1v1 style top laners as well.
Duelist.
Duelist, that would be the word for it. Splyce have a different playstyle to ROCCAT and everybody else at the moment. So it's just a, you know, a nice little mismatch of styles that in the last game we saw go Splyce's way. Maybe it'll tilt the other way back for ROCCAT now.
I mean, it definitely seems like Splyce have evolved over the offseason for sure, using different strategies, playing in different ways. And it's exciting to see how much Splyce can really do, taking games off really good teams. And now that ROCCAT are coming here and also taking games off good teams, it's just like seeing how these guys match up today. ROCCAT, I don't think it's out of the realms of possibility for them to take this game. I don't think it was out of the realms of possibility for them to take the last game, honestly. So it just comes down to some of those fights, but looks like we'll be loading onto the Rift right here. We have sorted out those technical issues, so we'll be getting into this one right about now. Lucian's so happy, he's just going to slam the ground with Tempest. We'll be getting into the second game of this best of 2 between ROCCAT and Splyce as we load onto the Rift.
We're on the Rift, and we're going to have to see if ROCCAT can have a better start to this game, because last game started badly for Parang. He's getting into the horrible situation for top laners where you get camped, and then you lose your flash, and then you get camped again, and you die. So if this game can go better, perhaps that gives ROCCAT a start to the game where Parang isn't automatically on the back foot.
Yeah.
We'll see what he can do when he's not, but obviously we have to get there.
Feels sad because it's just like, yeah, we'll give you this chance to play your signature champion, super hyper-aggressive, crazy playmaking potential. Didn't work out, I'm going to put you on Maokai, and then you're just going to have fun clicking Q all day and sitting on top of the AD carrier's face with W, and that's going to be your job for this game.
That's it. That's like, well, Parang, if you can do that and use your ultimate, just kind of stay near us.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But yeah, Parang will have to work his way back up and gain respect, and then he can pick up Jace again. Honestly, I feel like you need a composition built around Jace to make it work. I don't think there's a lot of synergy in that composition to really leverage all of Jace's particular talents as a poke champion. So I'd like to see that again, especially from Parang.
He will find you and he will poke you down quite a lot.
Shock blast you over and over and over again.
ROCCAT right now, they've got the Swain that worked well for them yesterday, but it's not the Swain that is really going to make this early game. It's perhaps Australia lanes that we're going to find ourselves in. So Ward went down from Raze on the top side. And looking to try and find out where Splyce were. Surprised, they are in the lane already, getting themselves some experience off that first wave.
Steelback actually didn't lose any minions or any experience. All those many minions, you can see all the damage was equally over each and every one of them, so should be able to pick up all of these.
Raze actually forced to go the long way around, though. He wanted to cut up into the lane. Problem is he would have got zoned out off by Mikyx and Kobbe. Unfortunately for Raze, that will sacrifice some of his early experience off the first few minions. Will give Steelback the level 2 slightly faster for himself, but Kobbe and Mikyx are already there.
Yeah, still farming away, looking for a hook, doesn't quite land. Bot lane you just saw there very briefly, Parang and Wunder. The Maokai matchup and Trundle matchup, very much an interesting one for the first level. And then everything past that, it's just them kind of butting heads. And Kobbe taking a lot of damage because of blows. Will have to jump away of the Arcane Shift there. Mikyx going to return a bit of damage onto Raze, so good punish while Mikyx was just trying to ward.
Normally fairly difficult to get that Braum passive stacked on an Ezreal, however, hook in return.
Raze and Steelback following after, quite make it happen for now. Chair doesn't land onto Kobbe. Again, backing away. A lot of action happening in the top lane. Airwaks.
He wants a piece of it.
Top lane. Yeah, he does. He's going to place down a ward and back off.
Yeah, he's been spotted out on a ward as well. Rek'Sai, Trashy is still top. Kobbe takes a lot of damage. ROCCAT have healed up a lot of what they'd lost before and still have the potion advantage here. So it's a little bit treacherous for the Splyce duo. We've already seen them caught out by a bit of a surprising trade already. If that happens again, could spell summoners being burned up there.
Sencux getting a bit of damage onto him right now. Swain getting slight upper hand in the early levels. Nicky is going to return a bit of damage onto Raze, just backs off. Mid lane, the bird is taking a lot of damage. Sencux is going to jump forwards, try and land Tides of Blood, but right into the Sanguine pool. So he's actually not doing too hot in these early levels, but Betsy is rapidly running out of mana.
And that's the thing, is Sencux now trading his health for Betsy's mana, and the farm game is still going to Betsy. So a little difficult for Sencux to play out here. Gonna have to try and step forward, but every time he does, out comes the bird.
Laser bird.
And Sencux now has to dodge all the way around and come back into it. So it's a bit of a tough matchup by the looks of it, not one we've seen all that much in the head-to-head. We've seen a lot of the Swain versus X matchup and the Vlad versus X matchup, but the Swain versus Vlad matchup, haven't seen a whole lot on 6.10. So we're going to learn as we go how it ends up. You can see Sencux still getting the worst of that trade.
Yeah, for now. So we're seeing how this matchup is working in the sample size of 1.
Oh, Rek'Sai coming down into the bottom lane. Parang got to be careful.
Well, he knows there's a pillar coming out, and he knew the timing. That was actually really well played by Parang.
Nicely played. Has to burn his flash, though. It's exactly what Trashy was looking for there. Realistically, never was going to get the kill onto a full health Maokai. I do even wonder if Parang had to flash, being full health behind his turret, but better safe than sorry, I suppose.
It looked to me that he didn't even flash. I just saw the twisted advance, and I was like, oh, that's cool. He went on to Trashy, didn't see the flash being, but I'm actually not sure if he needed to, because he escaped with like full health, and as you said, he's very tanky at this stage, also being close to this health, but playing on the side of caution, or erring on the side of caution, which he did last game as well, if you remember on the Jace.
Yeah.
Jungler came into the top lane, so it's like instant respect flash. Didn't die from there onwards, so we'll see if it works out for him, but does give up a little bit of pressure to Wunder. Still want to call him Wonderwear. It's like so many years of being conditioned into Wonderwear.
It's okay. We'll get there.
Yeah,
we'll get there as it is. So we'll see if Trashy can do what he did in game 1, which was go, okay, well, I burned your flash. I'm going to wait about 1:30 and then come back and ult. Well, on Gragas last game, ult him away and get the kill. This time, of course, he would be looking for a knock-up. And honestly, Trundle Rek'Sai, not exactly going to kill a Maokai if Maokai hits level 6 as well. Doesn't matter even if you subjugate the Maokai, somehow you got to burn him down first. As he's grasped the Undying again. Oh, yes.
Back to Infernals. Let's see if the prophecy still holds true, Stress.
But look, Airwaks is on the wrong side of the map here. There's no real way of ROCCAT actually taking this trade. And Splyce, they're just going to be able to take the first one pretty uncontested.
All right, what's the next one going to be? It's been broken, I believe. Let's see in just a second. Going to go over to Ocean Dragon now.
The prophecy's broken, Pulse.
Yeah, maybe it would be 3 Ocean Dragons. Maybe it's just like 3 in the game, so there's still a chance from here on out. But people will want to fight over this one. In the early game, Ocean, pretty useful, since it's only taking down champions and towers. So if you're getting hit by minions, you're farming in lane, you're farming in jungle, then you're getting all of that regen in the early game, mid game. So when you're not fighting, not interacting, then actually a very useful buff to have. Betsy putting a lot of pain onto Sencux, hitting that level 7 mark. And it just seems so far in this matchup that Vlad doesn't really do too well into Swain.
Yeah, and the problem for Sencux right now is if he trades too much health, Betsy's got the Ignite. And at that point, you basically have given away any kind of kill pressure in your lane on the side of Splyce, and are vulnerable to that from Betsy in exchange for the global pressure later game. You've got the teleport on your mid laner as well as top lane, so Splyce are able to play on multiple lanes. ROCCAT less so, they just have that Maokai. But ROCCAT are going to be the first team to push down a turret in this game, pushing down that bottom side. Kobbe and Mikyx had to fall back and pretty much give that turret. Void Rush was used.
Yeah, he was thinking maybe they could make a collapse happen, but at the very best it would be a 3 versus 3. Maybe just try and stop a dive or see if anyone else is trying to do something sneaky.
But look at what doing the Infernal Drake has actually cost Splyce right now. From those standard lanes, Kobbe now falling significantly far behind in CS, plus they've lost their tower, all for doing that dragon. Just the timing from Splyce slowed things down. Now we've got that mid lane all in.
Oh, Hemo Plague, both of them going to be healing up a bunch the next couple seconds. Sencux gets a lot of that health back, so does Betsy. Sencux coming in with another Tides of Blood and a Laser Bird. And that's pretty much what we said in Champions State, right? Like,
yeah.
They're just going to trade a bunch, and then a lot of them are going to get the health back, and then they're going to back away and farm minions.
And then Betsy's going to run out of mana, because he's got no mana regen, really. Hasn't started the Catalyst or anything like that, and then he's going to walk away.
Yep, and that's mid lane.
He's going to say, well, I actually can't take this fight anymore. But
it's like the flashiest matchup that won't ultimately really go anywhere, because they'll just like spam all of their abilities, and both of them will still be at 60%. So Sencux is getting a lot of his health back now. That's Blue going over to Betsy, so he's finally found that oasis of mana, so he's going to get all of the regen, and they're still very healthy. So top lane, Kobbe just practicing his targeting skills onto Mikyx, going into top lane. Not big CS differentials opening up apart from bot lane. Steelback is significantly ahead of Kobbe.
But it's always about that tower push on top of that. And again, ROCCAT are the first ones to pull themselves up into the top lane. Kobbe and Mikyx were behind the play. Kobbe's still not even level 6, so he's behind on experience. Couldn't utilize the True Shot Barrage to clear out any of this wave any further. So again, ROCCAT are still pushing their advantage right now, and Trashy is around the area, but he's spotted out on the ward. Sencux dropping low, but Betsy's taking tower aggro.
Yeah, the bird did a lot of damage though. Has to be careful of that. Took another tower shot. Betsy go into ultimate again. Get a lot of that health. Return to him.
Oh, Trashy. He's on a ward. Okay.
He is. And also, Sencux doesn't really want to be there right now. Just have TP. But I'm not sure if he's going to use that to get back to lane right now. Airwaks is in the top lane. But he and Kobbe are very far pushed back, so this will be a difficult gang to get off. You might have to wait for another full wave for it to bounce.
Sencux did just use his TP to get up to lane, and look at how Parang has dropped back in the bottom lane behind the turret, setting up for the TP.
Gonna set them under the tower. The TP comes in. Mikyx, I think, is already dead to right. First blood over to Steelback. True Shot Barrage in from Kobbe. Wunder coming down, looking for this kill onto Airwaks. Not gonna quite happen. Parang also getting chunked down. He'll flash away, but not to safety. Kobbe will pick up the kill. Airwaks still trying to back off. Steelback is gonna have to respect Flash as Trashy is coming in looking for the knockup.
And that was pretty heavily botched by ROCCAT when you look at it. They already had Maokai back in the lane, setting up for the TP, but it was late. The first kill of that exchange had already gone down by the time the Maokai actually gets into the mix, and Steelback took a whole host of damage as that tower dive started. Sencux and crew want to answer in the mid lane, but that's a pretty difficult bird to take down without minions under that tower.
Yeah, Sencux is very angry. He's gonna ult him and just back away, get his health
Ults for the
back.
health.
Yeah.
So,
really need it.
Look at this. They go on to Mikyx here under the tower. Problem is, Steelback and Raze are taking so much damage after this one ends up going. So Raze dies first, and then Steelback, as he's kiting back, it's Parang, actually, sorry, Phil, excuse me, that takes the damage that follows. And Splyce right now just have a good answer to that whole exchange. And, you know, it's 2 kills in favor of Splyce from ROCCAT trying to set up the play, so pretty good recovery there. Despite that, ROCCAT still have themselves a tower advantage.
They do, but still being very impressed by Trashy and Wunder. Just Wunder, goddammit, I'll get it eventually. Wunder has been playing throughout this series, mechanically just being impressed. Trashy locking down people in that last engagement under tower. ROCCAT do pick up another tower in exchange, so 2 towers over Splyce's 0 right now. 20 seconds left before the Ocean Dragon. Might see a contest over that objective, but Splyce are behind in gold. Most of it's kind of saturated on the jungler and AD picking up those kills, however. Mid lane, Sencux has not been able to farm as efficiently as Betsy. Betsy constantly putting down the pressure, and Sencux is about 2 waves behind, or 3 waves rather, is 20 CS behind.
Got a curiosity right now, Pulse.
What's that, Stress?
Trying to figure out where Steelback's going on this build. Because he's got himself the old Essence Reaver style setup to the beginning of his build.
Right.
And then he's got himself a Dirk.
He does.
It looks like he's going for a midpoint where he's like Essence Reaver into Ghostblade, which I guess isn't bad. Like, let me put it that way. But the Ghostblade build with the Black Cleaver specifically was for a slightly earlier game focus. Ooh, almost there on the timing. And has very economic back timings. A lot of long swords in the build.
Yeah.
You can then get you know, your first items fairly quickly, and it's all because it's actually a cheaper build than the Essence Reaver build and gives you fairly approximate stats just without the crit. So now he's going for the expensive part of the first build and the cheaper part of the second build and trying to just jam them together, which may work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we haven't seen Ghostblade on Lucian before with the cooldown boots as well.
Like what we haven't seen Essence Reaver before on Lucian.
Exactly. So I'm wondering how the rest of this build goes out. Does he go full crit and maybe go the eye edge instead of the Essence Reaver?
Like, it's not quite hope is bread, right? Like, I don't think you're going to get best of both by just building both like starts of each build and just hoping for the best.
Okay, so it's actually so the Warhammer, which could have gone into the Essence Reaver, has now gone into Ghostblade, of course. Right. That's the second part of that. So now, does he go the eye edge, which was typically like the 3rd or 4th item on the Black Cleaver build, and just go it early and get the Black Cleaver after, which is
maybe
gonna mess with the power of Lucian at certain points, but I'm looking forward to seeing where Steelback ends up on that.
Yeah, gonna mess with Splyce as well. It's like, is he going late game? Is he going early game? Who knows? We're gonna find out as the next item is picked up by Steelback. But meanwhile, in the mid lane, Betsy's completed his Rod of Ages. Sencux, of course, with the very classic first item, Spear of Visage. Gives everything that Vlad wants. Top lane, Wunder, moving towards Ramna's Hydra. A lot of Trundles doing that nowadays over Titanic. Parang just going for those components right now. Just becoming slowly a tanky Maokai. Bot lane, Kobbe just going for that standard build as well. Nothing really to write home about for the rest of the map. And CS is starting to kind of peter off throughout the rest of the map. Matchups that you think would be winning are winning. Wunder is ahead of Parang. Mid lane, Betsy is getting the better of Sencux, and Steelback has a slight advantage over Kobbe as well.
One of the reasons that we're seeing the rise of Rek'Sai, the tendency now for top lane and sometimes supports to build damage. We're going to see it in action here.
He's going to have to flash over. Oh, that was a very long flash, yeah. Ooh. Managed to get all over the wall. Steelback, meanwhile, going to push into the mid lane. Culling lands pretty much a full channel onto Mikyx. And get that lantern back to safety, and we'll head back to the tower. Meanwhile, the bot lane, the action just doesn't stop. Sencux slowly being chunked down as the banana being thrown out towards Airwaks.
It's not going to be enough to deter them. Steelback still can hit that turret fairly effectively. With ROCCAT taking down another turret, pulling back away. That's one of the things that a BF sword paired with Ghostblade is going to do, is it is right now going to give you a fair amount of flat damage before you've got that Black Cleaver at all. So we'll see, as we said, whether he does go the crit route or, you know, flat damage in the end of all things. But still, the jury's out. Lots of damage for now.
For now. Kobbe walking into this mid lane. And how are we looking for the rest of the board? So Splyce still behind in terms of gold, but very, very slight now as they cut up with some of those towers. ROCCAT's still that one tower ahead, taking all of his outer turrets into this game. Haven't really seen both the teams group up yet, really go for those fights. Splyce probably going to try and leverage Mikyx's picking potential. And Trashy, of course, as well on the Rek'Sai. Brian going for the front-on engagement. Sencux. Where's he going next? What item are we think he's going to pick up? There's so many different options and routes for Vladimir to take. We kind of have 3 right now, which would be like the Protobelt, the Warmogs.
You're giving me that question on Ruby Crystal. Yeah. You know how many things are built out of that, Pulse?
Well, not Zhonya's.
That is true. You can eliminate one of them. All right, so you give me something that isn't.
Yeah.
You answered the wrong question.
Well, I'm narrowing it down for you. It's not the worst question. It's just like, are you going 50-50 now? Like, what do you want? Friend of friend?
Yeah.
Ask the audience?
I'll tell you in a couple more. I'll tell you in like another minute.
Yeah,
Give me a minute to
when
think
he's picked
about
up
it.
the item.
Yeah, I'll tell you when we're closer to finding out ourselves. But there's going to be a fight over blue buff by the looks of it. Who's getting it?
It's gonna be... I actually didn't see. I think it was...
We're chasing it.
Nope, not him. Find
No,
someone else.
Trashy.
Oh, it is.
It's
I can't
hiding. It's hiding under Trashy, I believe.
We'll track down the... No, it's on Betsy. There you go.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I saw one of the mini Ravens pick it up.
Ah, you're right.
He picked it up and gave it to Swain.
Observers baited me.
Yeah, we just had to examine everyone, had to go for the zoom in.
CSI, the crime scene.
Yeah. And we did find out that Betsy was the culprit. Got it. Oh, Stoppy circle did and onto Wunder. He'll back away. He's good. And Parang, he's now in this top lane, trying to fight down this Vladimir. Well, not really fight, just kind of stop Vladimir.
Yeah, I don't really think there's too much fighting to be done there. Wonderware just steps outside of the never move again. It's not really the most effective of 1v1 tools unless somebody's really out of position.
No, not really. There's a lot of just kind of people walking up to towers and not quite be able to kill the towers, and people just kind of clearing the minions, and then Kobbe finding Airwaks. He was taking away these wolves. It's basically this big, long stare down for now. 30 seconds remaining until Dragon spawns. Betsy is slowly taking this bot lane tower. Wunder is not quite able to clear out these minions fast enough, and Betsy is taking them out. Airwaks is also there for moral support. And with 15 seconds remaining, I think ROCCAT should have control over this area. But Mikyx is taking away these wards. And Trashy's coming down as well.
It's infernal.
Ah, it is.
Let's go.
We still have a chance with 3.
We do. At this point, Sencux is going to have to recall out. Needs to be available for this fight. And you can see his recall has started. I'm guessing Pulse, he's going Rallies.
Really? Okay.
That's my guess.
All right. Oh! Picked up the converter of Rylite, so pretty good predict. Got it just as you came with the item purchase. Don't know how you did it. Well, Splyce are going to walk down into this river here. And with Dragon live, looking for that pick. Of course, it's not really a reliable pick, but if they do get it, they can easily get themselves the objective. Oh, just staring down. See you later, Harold. Goes back to the void once more. Seeing a lot of that. Pretty much a regular occurrence at around 19 minutes.
Yesterday we actually didn't have one taken on EU LCS 2. Vitality tried, but started at like 1940. It got to 1500 health, and the Barons started spawning, and Vitality were like, finish it, finish it, finish it, and it died.
Rip.
Yeah, rip. Splyce. Are they going to actually try and stop this? Now they're going to collapse.
I would assume so, since there's only Airwaks taking it right now. And he's already down to half. Hook over the wall.
Thanks for the help.
Him. Going to jump over the wall there. Betsy's into the fight, but he's completely by himself. Trashy is happy to pick up that kill with the rest of his team there. Kobbe almost dropped, and he's still actually burning. Stop, drop, and roll. Didn't drop. Race to the ignite. Picked up the kill there. With Dragon, it's still very low, but good hook onto Parang, but everyone's collapsing in. Airwaks over the wall, doesn't get the smite off. Trashy will secure that one. Airwaks trying to make his way out of this fight. Sencux hoping to do the same, smited for glory. And Mikyx over the wall. Prayseeker lands onto Steelback. He's thinking about going into this one. Oh, he didn't want it in the end. Mikyx will punish him. Good play. Extra damage coming there with the empowered auto attack. Raze and Parang chasing after Wunder. He'll make his way out as well, courtesy of Mikyx. That was a 3-for-1, but Dragon going over to Splyce.
Yeah, Splyce get the fight and the Dragon taking themselves their second Infernal Drake of the game, and pretty much credit to Airwaks on the assist on that one, because they turn up to a Dragon pit with Dragon at 2,000 health. Lee's already on his way out, and they say, okay, well, I guess we'll try and fight you a little bit. And they won that fight even without Kobbe. So this all starts off, you can see 1,800 health on the Dragon. Trashy's already thinking about how he's just going to steal this one away fairly easily. And Betsy, not tanky enough this early on in the game to be able to sit in front of 4 people from Splyce. From here, Steelback pushed out of the fight by Sencux. I want to see where most of his health ends up going. Parang is the one that gets hooked as the Dragon fight goes on. Is it Sencux now? Yeah, okay, he gets a Hemo Plague down onto Steelback. Is able to deal a lot of damage, and then Steelback seals his own fate, dashing into a hook.
He was blind there, so it's like, well, this is a 50-50 play. This could be amazing. This could make a highlight reel, or I could just walk right into a death sentence.
That'll make a highlight reel, but I don't think it's the one he was aiming for.
Yeah. Top 5 fails of the week. Yeah, well, at least they made one montage. 2 and 5 in this game. Splyce pulling ahead in terms of kills, pulling ahead in terms of momentum. Getting vision over the map now. And starting to complete some of those item builds. Starting to think that it will be that Rylai's in the mid lane. He's going to pick up that very shortly. Meanwhile, in the jungle, Trashy picked up a tier match, so have to assume he's going towards the Titanic Hydra. Wunder, God damn it. Wunder, he's following after Airwaks. Lands the smite, gonna flash after, gets the knockup and should take him down. Queen's Wrath. Meanwhile, Steelback getting chunked out by Mikyx and Kobbe. Raised under the same fate. Dual kill coming in for Ezreal. And Betsy will go into Zhonya's, and he's burning up, and he picks up a kill in return. He's got so much to stay. Mikyx will also have to back away. Trashy and Wunder, they just simply don't have the damage. Betsy is out healing them both. He's out of mana. He'll go back to human form very soon, and he'll still hobble away. Flash after from Wunder, chomp down onto Betsy. Pick up the kill, 4 for 1.
You can see how strong that Swain is. As soon as he can be tanky enough to hold his own against a couple of people, he just soaks the damage back up. In that fight, neither Sencux nor Parang could make their way to the fight, so neither team could utilize the 5th and final piece of the puzzle. Splyce still come out ahead just from the lead they had, despite Betsy being able to hold his own. But look, Splyce may have overextended, may have stuck around a little too long.
I think they're good.
Raze doesn't hit the ult. It's gonna not catch onto Wunder. Splyce can back themselves away.
It's just too hard to hit people at the end of that ultimate, but let's just take a look at Airwaks just getting roasted by Trashy.
I said the 1v1. Trashy actually, most of the work was done by Wunder. Yeah, tags him in. Kobbe at this point is one of the only ways for now of stopping Betsy from healing up.
Absurd this
and
is.
the bird damage is absurd as Betsy just stands there and is trying to run away. I mean, Wunder and Trashy aren't really taking a lot of damage here. That's the other side of this. If there was a damage source for ROCCAT, maybe you'd say that this was actually not the end of the world, but their damage was already dead. ROCCAT, Betsy on his own didn't deal enough and couldn't really stick around.
Yeah, Betsy's problems in these fights is he's either been the last one standing and then can't have enough damage, or puck over the wall to Raze, but no one's quite there to capitalize. Or he's the first one to drop in the fight and he's not able to get his full potential off as Big Bird.
So, Steelback has gone Ghostblade with the Black Cleaver.
Okay.
So, going for the I'm going to get my 3rd or 4th item faster, but delay my 2-item spike.
Okay.
That is one of the whole points of the build. So, I guess he wants to just get to that eye edge a little faster later. They haven't really been relying on him all that much in the fights, but at the same time, he's been dead for a lot of them, which I guess doesn't really make for a very reliable AD carry. Dashing over the wall, getting picked off. In that fight was picked off fairly early as well. Those were his 2 deaths, but Splyce have gone from strength to strength when you look at it.
So, Raze getting caught out a little here, or jump back, stand behind me, or please, you stand behind or stand in front of me. Steelback, help me out. Raze didn't quite drop there, but Splyce do pick up tower in the bottom lane. Sencux kind of turning the corner, maybe catching Raze with Tide of Blood. And Trashy just putting away the jungle as well. Really starting to turn up the heat in this game. A lot of pressure is being exerted onto the jungle, all that vision control. Now they're pushing mid lane as well. Sencux takes a bit of punishment in from Steelback. Never move onto Kobbe. Laserbird. And he'll back away. Decrepify does so much damage now.
So much of his health lost just by getting locked down once there. But you can see that even with as much health as Sencux has, he doesn't have a lot of armor. So still Steelback can deal a fair amount of damage. If he does pick up that Executioner's Calling, he can cut through the healing from it, but is not opting that route. Typically, you don't see an early last
Raze over the wall, right through the terrain. Again, dropping very low. Raze is going to have to pop the defensive ultimate. Wunder now making his way out. Good, never move onto Trashy and Wunder, though. This could be the fight turner. Airwaks over the wall before getting involved in this fight. Parang dropping low, shut down over onto Trashy. Meanwhile, Sencux picks up kill onto Raze, and the Maokai will go flying right into the fight, but immediately drops as he arrives. Betsy's dropping low himself. Kobbe managed to take him out. Mystic shot off to the side. Mikyx going to be finished off at the very end of this one. An ace out for ROCCAT, 3 for 5.
The Purifier arrives exactly when he's needed, because you can see the strength of this build against fairly low armor targets. Everybody has been prioritizing health. so you can just shred away the little resistance that they have, and it allows Steelback to clean this fight up pretty effectively. The beginning of this fight turns a little bit messy in the way of ROCCAT because they're not sure exactly how to fight this Wunder where they've got to deal a lot of damage to take him out. And then Sencux is in a position that a Vlad would normally want to be, but he cannot get the damage out onto Steelback. A lot of it was blocked by Raze blocking the tides of blood, and from there, Betsy was creating enough of a problem in the backline for Steelback to come forward in the fight, clean things up, and get the ace for ROCCAT.
That'll be a third dragon now for ROCCAT. That'll be the 2 Oceans and an Infernal to Splyce's just single Infernal themselves. And this game is really anyone's game now.
To clarify, that is slightly incorrect. It is 2 Infernals on Splyce's side, 2 Oceans on the side of ROCCAT. It is just a mix-up on the graphic right now. I did double-check on the in-game client. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure Splyce had the 2 Infernals. So it's 2 for 2. Which one's getting the triple, Pulse? Which team is it?
Find out.
It could be Splyce. It's Infernal.
Okay.
Dragon number 5 and the final elemental dragon
5 versus 4
will be Infernal. Pokemon told me that water wins that.
Yeah. Okay. I trust them. Then again, in Avatar, it was kind of reverse.
There we go.
So, all right. Back to
that's
it.
now correct.
But yeah, very interesting that both of them have picked up both elements in a row. So see if Splyce can get it, and see if ROCCAT can deny.
Also, the nice coincidence that blue team have picked up the blue, red team.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some high quality analysis for you, Pulse. There we go.
Bringing it to you guys. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry, I've got your back.
Steelback. Kobbe lands, or had the Q on him from Lucian, so didn't choose to go in on that because Trashy was there to defend him. Airwaks.
Proto Belt once again for Sencux, paired with those Swiftness boots is the I'm getting into the fight and just running forward build. So we saw it kind of work for Sencux in the last fight, but ended up not working when he couldn't get damage down onto Steelback. Everybody else was dying apart from the carry of ROCCAT that he really wanted to get the burst damage onto in the fights.
Wunder, he's back to his natural habitat of him being versus a tank, so he's probably happy about this than being against Betsy, which was just a horrible experience overall for Trundle. He's just gets outranged, can't really hit him, just takes a lot of damage over time. But when he's against Maokai, doesn't really kill him either, but he does have the advances in that matchup over time. The war of attrition, he will win.
Steelback just popped his ultimate. Was trying to get damage down onto Kobbe, I believe it was. Oh,
nice
kick away
from Airwaks, keeping Trashy at bay for now, but that is an ultimate expended while Splyce are still controlling the Baron area. They are taking away these wards, clearing out all the vision, and now ROCCAT are pretty much blind. They have that one ward over the wall now, just in that small bush next to mid lane, so they're pretty starved of vision.
Wunder is pushing the bottom side though, he's got it right up to the turret. And now Splyce can play with the Vlad on the top side. They've got enough ward stand and vision control topside jungle that Sencux, if the rest of the map is pushing out, can afford to extend just because they have the clear path through the top side. So Splyce were looking to play on that, but with Wunder backing away, mid lane backing away, it does force Sencux to kind of be at the mercy of the rest of his team and how far they're pushed up on Summoner's Rift.
Indeed. A lot of those kills have also been on Trashy, who is currently taking an insane amount of damage from Steelback. Mikyx will save him with Dark Passage, but it doesn't seem to matter how many kills that Trashy has, and so much gold that he has on him. Still, Steelback will chunk through him. No armor items though. He's only picked up the armor, chain vest, but has not picked up a full item yet. So quite easy for Steelback to chunk through that. Still, this game has stalled a little bit as ROCCAT won that last fight. Splyce still pushing up, so more kind of even in this game. A lot of vision towards the river more than anything else.
Yeah, and honestly, Splyce, in this scenario where one lane's pushing away from them, one lane's pushing into them, they're never really going to push out all that effectively. They need to be playing kind of on an equal footing right now because ROCCAT can't afford to actually maintain all 3 lanes at the same time. They don't have the summoners to do it. Swain is pretty much forced to stay with the rest of the pack, or you basically concede. And they can very easily look to capitalize on, you know, going aggressive either on Maokai, the teleport user, or the Swain, and then you know that only one other person can group quickly. Raze could be the target in the middle lane. Hook doesn't quite land on Steelback.
GP, Parang joining the rest of his team. He's on to Sencux. Sanguine comes out, and Betsy is still trying to tank up the backline. Goes into Zhonya's. Trashy, meanwhile, is backing away from Steelback, and Raze is trying to protect him. Sencux, he no longer has a way to get out of this fight. He's going to flash back to Trashy, but it looks like ROCCAT are finally getting the upper hand in this skirmish. Sencux is also going to fall, but he gets so much health back out from the Hemo Plague. Managed to take Raze with him for a 1-4-2 advantage to ROCCAT.
Yeah, and Kobbe wants to try and poke down to stop them dealing with this Baron here, but ROCCAT just got too good a trade at the beginning of that. There is no smite for Splyce. It's 30 seconds away, and Kobbe doesn't have enough damage alone to deal with this. Wunder wants to go in.
He's backing off. Mikyx does land another good hook onto Betsy. Doesn't have the Zhonya's puffer. Parang is going in. Finds the kill onto Wunder, and is still chasing down Mikyx and Kobbe. Mikyx hook onto Steelback. Kobbe's trying to finish him off, finds the shutdown. Assists to Baron. Kobbe over the wall, looking for the second. Doesn't quite get it, and that will be secured by Airwaks, finding the Baron.
Kobbe going aggressive with the arcane shift over the wall into the never move was enough to lock him down. Hook, okay, at the beginning of the fight, didn't quite land onto Steelback, and look at how Sencux now is forced to come out of the fight. He loses too much health and needs that ulti proc to heal him back up. At this point, the carries have backed away from his entry point, and it's Betsy and Parang that are blocking his entrance. Steelback now comes up through the fight with the damage, takes down the rest of Sencux's health bar, and from here, Kobbe, yes, he has damage and is able to poke from the side, but it's not enough to deal with every single member of ROCCAT. This is a nice attempt at a delay. We've got a fight in the bottom of your screen.
Well, Betsy, he's caught up in this, but he might find a kill onto Mikyx. He's going to flash away, but the death sentence didn't really live up to its name. Meanwhile, Sencux, he just can't even move. And with Parang once again closing in, an easy triple pickup from Betsy.
And that was all from what looked to be Betsy being caught out. We didn't see the beginning of that exchange, but Betsy would look to be 1 versus 3, turns it around with the amount of sustain he has, and ROCCAT, they're looking to tie this series up. They've got the Baron buff, and they're looking to push for the game.
These continuous good fights for ROCCAT, and this will be the third Infernal Dragon denied for Splyce. Going over to ROCCAT this time. 5,000 gold on that Baron power play, and it's only going to increase it as tower goes down. Add another 800 onto that. Now into this inhibitor with a 15 seconds on Sencux. Same for Trashy. I believe ROCCAT will probably back away now, but they have a massive mini wave in the bottom lane, so I actually think this is going to go back in.
This power play is going to be huge here at this point. Splyce, I don't know whether they can really fight yet. Sencux doesn't have TP, so he can't come in behind. So without ROCCAT overextending, they can back themselves away and reset for another push.
Oh, now people start going back to base, but Betsy is absolutely huge in this game. All right, we're going to see the setup to that one.
Okay, so it's Betsy getting hooked, but look at this. Sencux can't burn through Betsy fast enough, and Mikyx just dies off to the side of this. Betsy still healing himself up the entire duration of this fight. And it's so easy for ROCCAT at that point. If you can't deal with Betsy, if you don't have anything to deny Betsy the ability to heal himself up, you're just going to lose those skirmishes, and Kobbe's the only one that really has the ability to stop that with his Mortal Reminder, and he wasn't there at the beginning.
The return of the sustain mages. We've seen both of these mid lane champions shine in their own right. This time it's Betsy's Swain, who just refuses to die. And now he's opted towards the more straight-up damage item of the Death Cap being finished off. So he is, for all intents and purposes, full item build right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to kill that Swain, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's going to happen here. With the Zhonya's and the amount he's going to heal back up. He's not in this fight, though. Look at him. He's mid lane. He has to run up. The problem is Splyce aren't getting an engage here. They don't have someone to kick off the fight without a good flank coming through. And Sencux just doesn't have the position to TP in from the side or even move from the side. Sencux is going to recall, try and maybe look to TP in from the jungle, but he's had to back away. He just gets his health back and comes back through. There's no real good position here for Splyce to fight.
Raze, he's jumping forwards, trying to get into this one. That's the tower going down over to ROCCAT. And Mikyx, he's been very good at landing the hooks, but it's not been enough in this game to keep Splyce ahead. Tower is getting completely shredded out from ROCCAT. ROCCAT are going to look for the engage here. Good order in from Raze, Trashy into the backline, onto Steelback, but he's got no support, no backup. Meanwhile, the rest of the fight is erupting within the base. Parang and Betsy are just killing everybody by themselves. Mikyx's gonna back away, Kobbe onto the spawn pad. Wunder also gonna drop down for the double kill. Raze doesn't even drop to Kobbe, and that'll be a 4-0, and almost certainly the game. There's nothing that Kobbe can do to stop this from happening, and indeed the curse will continue as both these teams go one-on-one. ROCCAT with a win over Splyce.
A tied week for both ROCCAT and Splyce coming through, both scoring themselves a point from each day. They will be tied together on the standings at 2 points after tying in 2 games. So, I mean, in that game, ROCCAT again utilizing the Swain to their advantage. We saw that yesterday coming out from them. And it feels like Splyce were a victim of the issues that ROCCAT had in game 1, where they have this composition with the Vlad where they want to be able to engage, but without somebody flanking and looking for that opportunity, it's tough to get there in that later game setup.
I mean, it looked like it lived and died on Mikyx landing the hook, to be honest. And yes, he was landing a lot of them. I actually thought he did an exceptional job in that game to make it work, but in the end, he couldn't land enough hooks to kind of facilitate the team. And meanwhile, ROCCAT, they had a composition that was, I feel like, well put together, or compared to the last one that they had. It was very much, we're going to go for team fights. Maokai, Swain, Lucian as well as that first pick, and it all just kind of came together. And Betsy on that Swain as well. Very strong performance. Just refused to die. Like, so many times in that game, we just saw him go in and just not die at all.
Yeah, 3 games of Swain for Betsy, 2 wins. Impressive. It seems to really fit his play style to just be able to move forward, always move forward, and hey, I'm Swain, I'm not going to die. Yeah. It's great.
I want to see more Swain Vlad matchups as well, because we saw Swain get the advantage in mid lane in that 1v1. I want to see if that is just like because he has the advantage, or we just saw an outplay, or you know what it was over time. Because I think that could have swung in the other way. If Vlad also gets ahead, we've seen what Vlad can do. Equally, just doesn't die with Zhonya's Sanguine Pool. The absurd amounts of health he was getting back, he didn't have the damage behind it. Like in those fights, I was seeing him get like 1,000 health back coming in from Blood Rush or something from his Qs. So it's still possible, but yeah, it went over to Betsy this time.
There were a couple of key fights, though, that Sencux just couldn't get the damage down. And that one that was kind of on the catwalk area around the blue buff on red side was perhaps the one that accentuated it the most. Steelback ended up cleaning up because he just didn't get taken down in the fight, and ROCCAT managed to pick up a win.
Yeah, well, with that 1-1 tie, we're going to now send it over to EpicSkillshot, who is standing by on stage with Betsy.